Hey guys, what's up? It's Drew here, and today we're going to be doing a review and taking a look at the Jack Queen King hand cannon. This is available as one of the Lost Prophecy weapons from the Forge, and this is obtainable by completing Lost Prophecy verse 3. If you do take the time to do this, you will not be disappointed, because this, in my opinion, is one of the best hand cannons in the game, definitely top tier. Before I begin, I do want to mention that I am doing another emblem giveaway, but more importantly, the winner of the last emblem giveaway will be at the end of the video, so if you're interested, you can definitely pay attention to that. Otherwise, I will be continuing to do monthly emblem giveaways on the 20th of every month, so we'll have a new emblem to give away today as well. Really apologize guys, I usually don't like to be intrusive and talk about giveaways, but I did want to mention that the winner is going to be at the end of this one, and what we're doing going forward. Anyways guys, let's get into it, and let's start with the archetype of this weapon. So this weapon is a lightweight hand cannon. It fires at 150 rounds per minute and of course has 78 impact to go along with that. It deals 60 damage to the head, so that's your critical damage, and 40 damage to the body, and that's going to give you a 1.2 second optimal time to kill, taking 2 critical shots, 2 body shots, and a 1.6 second base time to kill with 5 body shots. In terms of our perks, we have a few different sights to choose from. We have the Fast Draw HCS, which is going to greatly increase handling and slightly increase stability. True Sight IS, which slightly increases range, stability, and handling altogether. And then the Hit Mark HCS option, which slightly but more significantly of the 3 options increases range. Of our sights available, if you're playing with controller, I strongly recommend going for Fast Draw HCS. Just having that really snappy handling and stability is very important. Handling is always nice, but more so stability is very important with hand cannons to be very consistent. They're already somewhat inconsistent with controllers, so stability helps them maintain their consistency and work a lot better. So stability is a very important stat for hand cannons. Of course, not so much with mouse and keyboard. If you're playing mouse and keyboard, you can definitely go for something like True Sight, get a little bit more range, but still maintain some handling, or just go full on range with Hit Mark. In terms of our magazine perk options, we have Ricochet rounds, Tactical Mag, and Accurized rounds. So Ricochet rounds is definitely the best of these 3 perks, and I don't see any reason to be using anything else, because Ricochet rounds, it allows you to not only have your bullets ricochet and maybe have the slight odd chance of being able to hit someone off of a ricochet, it of course increases stability, gives you a bit of range, but more so than anything, it increases your zoom, and we've talked about this in the past. Talk about this a little later in the range portion of this video, but basically better zoom means better range performance overall in terms of stickiness and damage sustenance at range, even although zoom doesn't necessarily change the range stat in the stat bars. If you wanted to know a bit about the other perks though, Tactical Mag does give you a small bonus to stability, reload, and magazine size, and Accurized rounds gives you a good increase to range, although, like I said, none of these do anything better than Ricochet rounds. Ricochet rounds gives you really the best of both worlds for both of those perks. And not to mention that this kind of fuels the reason why I would use Fast Draw HCS on this weapon. You don't really need to make up for a lot of range with this gun. Of course you can if you're using this hand cannon more as like your ranged weapon, then totally you can definitely go for Hit Mark if you wanted to. But increasing your stability and prioritizing stability is not a bad idea on this weapon, because Ricochet rounds is already giving you a significant range boost and taking care of your range stat. Like I said though, you can go full on range and get some pretty crazy range with this hand cannon if you wanted to though. Finally, our trait perk on this weapon is Pulse Monitor, and as much as I thought that this perk was kind of a waste of a perk, which would make sense considering this weapon already has such great sets of perks already before this and good base stats, I really didn't find it that bad. It consistently kicked in, so whenever you went into a critical or red bar health, it would auto reload a portion of the mag, and yeah, this wasn't a crazy significant perk to have, but it was reliable. Anytime I was weak, it was like, okay, auto reload, auto reload, auto reload. And I got to the point where I just didn't have to reload nearly as often. I was just able to be more consistently in the fight. So I'm not saying this is the best perk in the world, but I think it's far from useless. It was honestly pretty solid, and it was a nice kind of passive perk to have there to make a difference. So moving on now, let's talk about the stats of this weapon. Now these stats are reflective of using Fast Draw HCS and Ricochet rounds. This weapon's got 50 range and 91 target acquisition, 55 stability, and 100 recoil direction, 86 handling, 63 reload speed, and 13 bullets in the mag. So to start, as always, let's talk about range. Now with Ricochet rounds, this weapon is bound to have great range performance, especially on top of an already exceptional range stat of 50. That's higher than that of the Sunshine Sunshot and the Better Devils already. By default, Sunshot has 38 range and Better Devils has 46, although you can increase it. With this stat and using the setup of fast draw and ricochet rounds, damage drop-off started at 32 meters, although you can expect it to start at a further distance with some of the range increases that you can get on the weapon if you choose to use one of those instead. Now, we've talked about it in the past, but for those who don't know, ricochet rounds, of course, as I mentioned, maintain stability and gives a slight increase to range, but it also boosts zoom, granting a quote-unquote rangefinder type effect, which was a perk in Destiny 1 that when you were aimed down sights would give you more zoom, and as a result, better range performance. The more zoom there is on a weapon, the better range performance it gets in terms of stickiness and damage drop-off. The question now is really, how does this measure up against explosive rounds? I'm quite certain that explosive rounds does have a better effect on maintaining pure damage, at least at range, but considering Sunshot is the only energy hand cannon that has explosive rounds and shares the archetype of this hand cannon as well, there's a case to be made that this hand cannon could potentially have better range performance because it does have a base 50 range plus ricochet rounds compared to the 38 range of the Sunshot, which is exponentially lower, plus explosive rounds. Unfortunately, though, without private matches, this isn't something we can test on a whim, but I'd surely love to look back at this when we can and we have the opportunity with private matches. I'd bet right now, though, that Jack Queen King has somewhere around the same performance at range, maybe even a little bit better than Sunshot. Either way, overall, this hand cannon, though, is top tier range. It has top tier range performance, and it's among the best. Now, in terms of stability, the fact that this weapon's stability is probably its weakest stat should really say something about the weapon, because even in this category, it's quite good. In terms of raw stability, it's a bit below average. It's 55 stability, which isn't bad, but it's certainly not great. But it follows up with a perfect 100 recoil direction stat. So essentially what this means is you're going to get the most consistent recoil possible on a hand cannon, but you'll have a decent amount of visual screen jump to compensate for. But since it's so consistent, I think it's really not difficult to get used to or do. Pairing this weapon with an energy counterbalance mod tightens its recoil pattern even more, to the point where it's near perfect after the first shot. Just first shot onwards, it's incredibly consistent, pretty much perfect recoil pattern. You can even make up and reduce some screen jump on the weapon if that's kind of bothering you from using a stability masterwork, but more on that later. In terms of our handling and reload speed, this was yet another great area for the weapon. There's not much to say here other than the weapon really felt snappy and reload speed felt about average, but perhaps a little bit better. It had pretty high handling, not quite as high as something like the Sunshot, but still noticeably faster than other hand cannons in my opinion, and this made it feel quite responsive and versatile in many scenarios. Its magazine size was also pretty top tier, especially combined with pulse monitor. You were rarely reloading when you use this weapon in my experience. Finally, let's talk about what kind of a masterwork you're going to want to make this weapon, and from this video onwards, this is going to be a new category we cover in reviews. As I mentioned earlier, stability is my choice of what I'd aim to get from making this weapon a masterwork. The other options available for hand cannons, which are handling, reload, and magazine, don't really feel like they're needed or would provide any significant impact. Stability is the only place that this weapon even remotely lacks, so increasing it a little bit will make the screen jump a tad less and making the weapon easier to be accurate with. Of course, if you really wanted to, you can also increase handling to make the weapon even snappier and really play to its strengths, but again, it feels to me rather unnecessary compared to the benefit of stability on hand cannons, most especially though for consistency when playing with a controller. With mouse and keyboard, stability is far less of a concern, surely, so you can definitely warrant using a handling masterwork version of the weapon. Anyways, guys, that's all I have to say about the weapon. I hope you guys enjoyed the review, but in terms of our giveaway, so the winner of the last giveaway, so last month's giveaway, is going to be Colasar on PSN. I hope I'm saying that right, but I'll message you. Please respond if you would like to redeem the emblem. Our last giveaway was for the Darkest Day emblem. For the next month now, we're going to be doing Planet of Peace, which is the heart emblem. We'll give this emblem away next month on the 20th, exactly a month from now. To enter, all you have to do is subscribe, make sure to turn on all notifications, and comment down below with your PSN, your gamer tag, or your Battle.net so I can contact you if you win the emblem. We'll be choosing a random person and, of course, announcing that next month. My apologies, guys, for being late on the announcement of this winner. I know I said I was going to do it on Friday. I was super busy and didn't get around to making this video, but I promise next time I'll be more on point. So guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. Definitely leave a comment with your thoughts on the weapon and on the video. Thank you so much for watching. Best of luck in the giveaway, and I'll catch you guys later.